The alarm hit my ears before I even opened my eyes. Red light spilled across the maintenance bunk, and the station intercom screamed one word over and over. Breach. Breach. I rolled out of bed and grabbed my tool belt without thinking. My name is Dale Rennick, and I fix broken pipes and failing wires on a space station that belongs to people who think I am barely worth noticing. That morning, I did not know I was about to become the only person who could stop a war. I ran through the corridor, boots slamming on metal, while alien guards with long limbs and clicking mouths shouted orders in a language I only half understood. The Vesselar are tall, thin, covered in soft feathers that glow faintly when they feel strong emotion. They built this station high above their homeworld, and they run it with rules so strict that one wrong bow can end a career. I was not running toward the breach. I was running toward her. Princess Thael, the silent princess. Heir to the throne of an empire that spans 12 worlds, and a young woman who had not spoken one single word in 5 years. Every tutor sent to her failed. Every telepath who tried to touch her mind was pushed away like a wall slamming shut. The court called her broken. I never believed that. I reached her chamber just as 2 guards dragged a man in official robes out of the room, his feathers flashing an angry red. He was the royal negotiator, and behind him, through the open door, I saw smoke curling from a control panel and sparks jumping from a wall socket. Something had gone wrong with more than wires. I stepped inside, and my heart nearly stopped. Thael stood in the corner, pressed against the glass wall that looked out onto the stars, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. Her feathers, usually pale silver, had turned a deep and frightened blue. Behind her, on a screen, a countdown ticked downward, numbers falling fast. 7 minutes, 6 minutes 50, 6 minutes 40. A guard named Corin Ashby grabbed my arm. His voice shook. The rebels planted a signal jammer in her private systems. It is tied to the station's core stabilizer. If nobody enters the shutdown code before that timer hits 0, half this station loses gravity control and breaks apart. Then get someone up here who knows the code, I said. Only the princess knows it. His grip tightened. Her father gave it to her by mouth, years ago, before he died. He never wrote it down. He trusted no one but her with it. She has to speak it. She has to say the words out loud, or the system will not accept it. It needs her voice pattern. I looked past him at her. She was not looking at the timer. She was looking at me. 5 years earlier, before I ever set foot on this station, her father had used her as a shield in a political game. He forced her onto broadcasts as a child, made her recite promises she did not understand, used her innocent face to calm rebellions, while soldiers did terrible things behind the scenes. When the truth came out, the anger of an entire empire turned toward a little girl who never asked for any of it. She stopped speaking that same year, not because she could not, because speaking had only ever brought her pain. I had learned this slowly, over months of small visits nobody approved of. I was never supposed to be near her. My job was pipes and wires, nothing more. But 6 months ago, a life support glitch sent me into her chamber, and instead of bowing and refusing to look at her like every other servant, I just talked. I complained about a stuck valve. I made a joke about alien wiring being held together with hope and glue. She did not answer, but her feathers shifted, just slightly, toward curious green. After that, I kept finding reasons to be nearby. I never asked her to speak. I never treated her silence like a broken machine that needed repair. I brought her music from Earth once, an old recording I found in a cargo crate. I sat with her in comfortable quiet, and let that be enough. Slowly, so slowly, her feathers began to trust me with color instead of fear. Now the timer read 5 minutes 10 seconds, and a room full of nobles wanted her to perform on command, the exact thing that broke her in the first place. Corin shoved a communicator toward her mouth. "Speak the code, Your Highness, please. Everyone will die." She flinched backward, her whole body shaking, and said nothing. "Get that thing away from her," I snapped, stepping between them. "We do not have time for your kindness, human," Corin shot back. "In 5 minutes this station tears apart. Children live on the lower decks." He was right about the danger. He was wrong about the answer. I knelt down so I was level with her, not above her, not demanding anything, My hands were empty. No recorder, no microphone. Just me. Thahale, I said quietly, using the short version of her name, the one I had never dared use before. I am not going to ask you to perform for anyone, not for the court, not for the guards, not even for me. Her eyes, large and dark, found mine. I am going to tell you what is happening, and then it is your choice, not theirs, yours. I kept my voice steady, the same voice I always used with her, the one that never demanded anything back. There is a bomb built into the systems your father left you. In 5 minutes, if nobody enters his old code, this whole level loses air and gravity. Families down there, people who never hurt you, people who do not even know your name. Her feathers flickered between blue and green, fear fighting against something else. You do not owe them your voice, I said. After what was done to you, you do not owe anyone a single word ever again. I mean that. If you stay silent right now, I will still stand here beside you when the counting stops. I am not leaving either way. Her lip trembled. For 5 years, every single person who came near her wanted something. A statement, a promise, a performance for cameras. I wanted nothing except for her, to know she had a real choice for once in her life. The timer read 3 minutes. She stepped away from the glass wall. Her hand reached out and closed around mine, fingers cold and shaking. Then she turned toward the control panel, and I walked with her, matching her pace, saying nothing more. Corin started to speak again, and I raised a hand without looking at him. He went quiet. Thale Siren stood before the panel where a small microphone waited, dark and unused for 5 years. Her mouth opened. For a moment, nothing came out. Just breath and fear built up over half a decade. I did not move. I did not rush her. I simply stayed beside her, steady, present, unafraid of her silence and unafraid of her voice. Then she spoke. Her voice was rough from disuse, quiet, cracking on the first syllable, but clear enough for the machine to catch it. A string of numbers and old court words her father had once whispered to her in secret, meant only for her ears, now given freely, because she chose to give them, not because anyone forced her hand. The panel beeped. Green light replaced red. Somewhere far below us, in decks full of families who would never know her name, the countdown stopped at 42 seconds remaining. The room went silent in a different way now, not the silence of fear, the silence of shock. Corin stared at her, like he was seeing her for the first time in his life. Other guards who had rushed in during the final minute stood frozen, feathers flickering between disbelief and something close to shame, remembering every failed tutor, every forceful telepath, every specialist who had tried to crack her open like a locked door, instead of waiting for her to open it herself. Thale Siren did not look at any of them. She looked at me. "Thank you," she whispered, her second sentence in 5 years, and her voice did not shake this time. I did not bow. I did not treat the moment like some grand victory over her broken silence, because that was never what this was about. You did that, I told her. Not me. You chose it. Word of what happened spread through the station within hours, twisted 100 different ways by nobles eager to claim credit, by advisors who suddenly wanted to be seen standing near her, by court reporters spinning stories about the tutor who finally succeeded where all others failed. None of them understood, and I did not try to correct every version. Let them talk. It did not matter what the court believed. It mattered what she believed. Later that night, after the guards had gone and the smoke had cleared from her chamber, I found her sitting by the same glass wall, looking out at the stars instead of hiding from them. You did not have to stay, she said, her voice still rough, still new, but hers. I know, I said, sitting down a respectful distance away, close enough to matter, far enough to give her room. I wanted to. She was quiet for a while, but it was the comfortable kind now, the kind we had built slowly over 6 months of small visits and unforced honesty. They will want me to speak more now, she finally said. Give speeches, calm the rebellion, perform again. They can want whatever they like, I answered. You still get to choose. A small sound left her, quiet and unfamiliar even to herself. It took me a moment to realize it was a laugh, the first one in 5 years, soft and surprised at its own existence. The next morning, the Royal Council summoned me to formally reassign my duties, expecting me to accept some grand new title, befitting the man who saved the heir to the throne. I told them I preferred to keep fixing pipes. Thalesiren, sitting quietly beside the throne for the first time in years, spoke before they could argue. "He stays near me," she said, calm and certain. "Not as a servant, as someone I trust." Nobody argued with a princess who had just saved her own empire with her own voice. I still fix broken wires most days. I still crack bad jokes about alien engineering. She still does not talk much, not to crowds, not to reporters, not to nobles hungry for her words. But when she does speak, people listen now, really listen, because they finally understand what I learned the very first day I stepped into her chamber uninvited. Her silence was never something broken that needed fixing. It was armor she built herself, and she was always the only one allowed to take it down.